quick little shot here. I wanted to show you one of the things I talked about in an earlier video about the ground cloth and the benefit of it. For 1.5 ounces, let me show you the benefit here. The ground, as you can see here, is very clay-like. It's very wet and mushy, and it actually coated my tent stakes with like a clay-like coating. You can imagine trying to roll this tent up on that kind of ground and how messy that tent would get. Yes, the ground cloth is wet. Yes, it's a little dirty around the edges, but I can at least kneel on it and wrap up my tent without getting it completely coated in clay. So take that for what it's worth. All of my tent stakes were full of clay. They're all dirty. Now you can see they're nice and clean. I took off the activated carbon filter off of my water filter here. When I did that, the water flow was much stronger, and I had a little drizzle. I don't know if you can see that. A little drizzle of water, and I rinsed each tent stake under there, and I still had enough water left to then rinse my hands like a little faucet. I'm the last one at the shelter, so I thought I'd give you a quick tour. They have a nice fireplace. It's really nice having these big heavy-duty ones with the brick, because it kind of reflects the heat back toward you when you're sitting in front of it, either at the picnic table or in the shelter itself. The picnic table in front with all my junk. And as you can see, this is a nice solid one. It's built with stone. A lot of them are built with logs. There's a little sign up there. Tells you it's the Pinefield hut. And you can see this one's pretty good. It's got a nice wooden platform. It looks fairly smooth. It's not rough. You know, it's been painted. And then they have a loft. I'll take a step up here and show you the loft. And there's no ladder. You just step on this little board, this little piece of wood. That's your step to get up in the loft. So there's another loft up here. You can fit 2 adults up here. 3 in a pinch, I suppose. You'd be knocking into each other, I think, a little bit. And then they have the trail register over here. That's what you're supposed to sign to let everyone know you were there and where you're headed next, just in case there's an incident. But you can see this one's got a pretty nice view. It's a creek down there for your water supply. And that's the trail up there toward the left. Here's a bear pole. So you can see this metallic structure with those hooks on top. You take this pole that's hanging down. You see that skinny pole to the left. You take that, you lift your food bag up there, and you hang it on one of those hooks, and then the bears can't get to it. On the left, that big brown box, that's a bear box. I love bear boxes. I wish every shelter had a bear box, because bears cannot get in. Your food is safe. It's safe from any kind of varmint, really. Mice could potentially get into some of these boxes. But the way they operate is you stick your hand up under here, and there's a latch, and it's just an empty box, you know. And your stuff stays dry. It's protected from not just bears, but raccoons and possums and squirrels and chipmunks. And finally, up there on the hillside, you see a brown structure. Looks like a little hut. We're on the other side of the tree. That is the privy, and the campsites are up there to the left. I had to climb up this steep hill to get up there. I was camped right there. That's where my tent was, right there. So anyway, that's a quick tour of the Pinefield hut. I may not be able to get much footage from the trail today if the rain comes back. I've got only 8.2 today, 8.2 miles, but there's a big up and then a big down, then a big up, then a big down, and then a big up to the next shelter. All of that within 8.2 miles. So I'll see what I can do if I see anything interesting. Sometimes the animals don't come out when it's all rainy and cold like this, but if anything interesting happens along the way, or if I see anything cool, I'll of course take a little video. Looks like some kind of rock monster with its mouth open. That there is the skinniest blaze on the AT. Look, it's a pregnant blaze. I wonder when she's expecting. The trail is already starting to fill in. Spring has sprung. In another week or two, this will all be filled in. From a distance, it looked like a dirty snowball. It's actually some kind of marble. It's really cool. So this is how I remember the Appalachian Trail, the times my wife and I hiked it. Very much like this a lot of the time. Not all the time, but there's a lot of this, where you're on a trail and you're just surrounded by shrubbery, trees, greenery, and so forth, which is, of course, why they call it the Green Tunnel. Now the sun's coming out, and I've lost my sunglasses. They were stored in the little sunglasses garage that this hat has built in, which is great when you're hiking. But it got hot at one point. I was going uphill and I took my hat off, and I was holding it by the strap in the back in my hand that I was holding the hiking pole in. And next time I put my hat on, I'm like, where's my sunglasses? They obviously eventually got jostled out of that sunglasses holder, and they're way back there now. Why do they always put the uphills right before the shelter? Oh my God. That can't be much more than a half mile if I make it. Oh, it's mercifully it's leveled out. That was brutal. The scary part is that's relatively mild compared to other parts of the trail. So I'm glad I'm kind of ramping up on this section and getting my trail legs when it's relatively easy. All things are relative, even on the Appalachian Trail. I'm trying to say Appalachian when I'm down south, you see, not Appalachian. I don't want people to laugh at me. And I thought I'd show you what my tent looks like in so-called porch mode. Now this is kind of a modified porch mode. I only have 2 lengths of paracord. Normally you would not run the 2 lengths of paracord to a single stake like this. I'm just doing this to air out the tent because it was so wet this morning. But you can see how the doors kind of act like little diagonal awnings. And the same on this side. It looks kind of like a manta ray or something. Anyway, and on this side I just tied the doors, as you can see, around this tree. I ran the paracord around the tree, around the other side, and down to the other door. So that just opens it up, allows the air to flow through. You get a good cross breeze in there, air out the inside of the tent, air out the outside of the tent, the inside of the doors, the underside here. And then once it's dry, I'll try to wipe or knock a lot of that dirt and debris off of it. But anyway, I just want to show you that.